All right, here we go. Man, I don't know what the heck happened. A lot of things happening on my end right before the stream starts, but we're gonna go. Gonna give a second for people to flow in. If you're here, share the stream, and if you're here after the broadcast, share it anyway. Like I said, if it's any videos before 2026, they're all gonna be random. No guarantees. 2026, we're gonna be on it all the time. I've lost the ability to type on my computer, so for whatever reason, everything just froze up now. But I would have lost the broadcast and had to do this, so I'm just going now. So there's a few things I won't be able to do, but let's go ahead and cover this. You see the title. We're talking about the 800, the 4x1, and so on and so forth. I think I lost the... I did lose the video, and I can't type it in for the men's 4x1 for Jamaica. That was really messed up. I'll see if I can pull that up in the background, but for now, let's go with one of the later events right here. Here's Wanyonyi in the 800. This was great. This was great. This was an exciting 800. Every year is exciting. It seems like the same type of podium people are showing up. Oh yeah, Fair Use YouTube, Fair Use NBC Universal and NBC Sports, and Fair Use Flow Track. Obviously, we're doing commentary here. Where is... Hold on. It was earlier on. It was earlier on. Let's play this on 2x speed. I forget exactly where. I just had that pulled up, but once everything froze, I had to close my tabs and open them back up. Nope, not here. Interesting. I don't know where it is. We're going to see how this plays out. But in any case, yeah, this 800, I didn't catch up to it until just yesterday after the stream. I started catching up to the heats and streams because I'm not seeing everything at the same time on the same day. I'm looking at certain events because I got other things to do. Next year, I'll be able to catch up on everything as it goes through like I did in the past. So, I didn't know that Donovan Brazier had got knocked out. But there it is. And like I said, Jamaica probably is already kind of sort of playing out. I've said it in previous streams, but I put it in a post, and I'm saying it more directly. Jamaica actually, you would think Jamaica would be, okay, all right, I got to make this comment. Rhodesia, you kind of let yourself go. He said, I'm eating good. This man is looking like their previous... I think the first medalist that Kenya ever had, I think that was in the 10,000 at the Olympics. He let himself go. Rhodesia, please don't let yourself go. Do not start looking like a linebacker and whatnot. Because some athletes, they let themselves go. You'd be like, dang, did you ever run before? He looked like he is ready to... His hands are very meaty right now. Rhodesia, his hands are very meaty. He looked like he'll smack you into a coma. Right now, look at those hands. His hands will smack you into a coma. He looking real strong. Saying YouTube is not receiving the data. Are you guys seeing it? Okay, I see the. Let's play this on regular speed now. Again, fair use. This for commentary, education, and so on and so forth. You guys know the fair use things. Let me see. It says, "Stay curious." Said Bryce. Videos keep pausing, by the way. I don't know what's going on with that. Just let me know about what the if it's buffering. Can you hear me fine? And stay curious. You said Bryce Deadman should have taken Zambia's baton. I don't get that one. Keeps World Athletics on their toes. Oh, I get you. On the real, I heard that they're doing a runoff, but they could just do a repechage. I don't think they should do a runoff. That's clear interference. The rule is, okay, you know what? I'll get to that in a second. Let me cover this, and I'll get to that video in a second. I'll stay focused on this. So here it is right here, the 800. They're getting out pretty good. When Yonyu said, I'm gonna make sure I'm getting out, the Jamaican athlete, he actually gets out pretty decent. That was decent for him. He knows he's not the fastest in the field, so he's not gonna be crazy and try to then go up with the world leaders. Not at all. Arop is the defending champion, if I'm not mistaken, from 2023. Wanyonyi is the Olympic champion now, but they keep going back and forth. These guys that are up there, they keep going back and forth, meet after meet. Wanyonyi hasn't stepped a blessed foot wrong once. Is he undefeated this year, or did he just lose one race? This man has been at the top of the list basically the whole year. 49 plus on that first lap. That was pretty decent. They were just below world record pace. I say they were on world record pace. It just kind of depends on your endurance on that second one, speed endurance on the second lap. But doesn't really matter. Jamaica's in a good position right now. Anderson's got himself in fourth place. And I'm saying, if Jamaica, if y'all focus and get more people in that 800, and I mean the people that might be, okay, when I say the B tier, now I can actually explain that what I did with the post. Here's how this is. Let me get this with a better one where we can see them a little bit more. Okay, if especially y'all had what's her name for the longest on the women's side, and she's basically like competing herself, and that was it. I'm like, dang, she's perpetual fourth place basically, right? Except for World Indoors, perpetual fourth place or Diamond League really. And it's like, y'all could put another few athletes there on a series and say, you know what, my 400, it's not really on there. It's kind of world class because I'm able to make these meets. I'm able to make a Diamond League. I'm able to make a Continental Tour because that's still world class, even though they got different tiers. I can still do those, but I'm not really able to win. I'm over here in the back. And on top of that, really, I'm not even the A tier people. Or I could be like A tier, but on the bottom rung or the top rung of B tier for this 400. Or, and by top rung, let's say for the women's side, you're running a 53 plus. Okay, maybe even 54. That's getting there. But 53, go ahead for that 800. And if you talk about the women, I mean, you got U.S. women. What is that? A thing mode. I mean, you got people going 50 point and sub 50. So, but in general, you should be a 53 or faster on the women's side. On the men's side, you could be a good, strong 45, 46 guy. 45, 46-ish. You could get away with 47, but you really ain't going to be pushing these times that they're pushing and be able to actually win anything with that. But 45-ish in a 46, like 45, 4 or so, you're able to then be competitive. I think there's enough Jamaican athletes in those 45-4 to about 46-7 at the slowest. And you can get some people focused on that 800. If you get people in there, Jamaica might actually be able to have somebody and smack some ass up in this 800. I'm telling you, I can see it already. I've seen it. I think I made a comment on that in 2021. And the reason why I'm saying this right here, this is where that speed will come in handy for him. Maybe some of the endurance kicked his ass, getting out a little bit faster. I'm going to focus on the Jamaican athlete right here, Anderson, for a second, where he's in a good position. He just did not have the gas. He came out too quick to his personal best. And I don't mean personal best in 800. Personal best in his 400 on that first lap. You get somebody a little bit faster than him in the open 4, then you got something going on pretty well. Again, I'll go against that. I'll do that again. He's coming out in the 50, I think he was a 49 high. So this man, he faded, but here's when you're able to hold everybody off. Let's focus back on the leads now. A-Rock tried. This was a good run for him. He took over the lead for a split second when Yonyu was like, nah, let me take this one up. Sajaji came out of nowhere and did it. The Spaniard thought he was going to do the same move he did the day before. Nope, it ran it out of his legs. You used that move. Unfortunately, you used that sprint finish the day before. He shouldn't have done it. When Yonyi got caught off guard the other time, he was just looking to make sure he was holding on. You don't want to use your best finish the day before because you won't necessarily have it the day after. It's not how our bodies work all the time, especially in the 800. He tried. He kind of reminds me of what's our 1500 meter runner over here that's doing a commentary on Flow Track. Dang, I forgot his name. I should know his name too. Matthew Centrowitz. He kind of reminds me of Centrowitz by that. So now we're going to pass on that. That was a fantastic. He got a championship record, 141.86 or so. Looks like 87. They might have corrected it down. There we go. So let's pass on with that. Let's go down to the 4x4 real quick. Then we get to Jamaica in a second. They should have that in the playlist because I can't type. Let's see if I can have the ability to type. No, I'm going to have to shut my computer down. I don't know what's happening with this keyboard and everything here. Where is that 4x4? It should be on. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the rule for the 4x4. It's supposed to be, if I'm correct, and if you're joining this live stream now, share the stream with other people, and so on and so forth. Fair use. Fair use. I got to say this again. Let's pass this up. Let's go to the start. We want to get this race started. The rule is, to my knowledge, unless they changed it, I thought it's the either top or middle of the curve, actually. Wherever your team is at the middle of the top of the middle of the curve, like about 150 to go, that's what position you're supposed to stay in. But it appears to me that the position is off of the curve. So it looked like the way they were going. So if it is off of the curve, that makes sense. We're going to get to that in just a second, where the Netherlands athlete was. Because if it's off of the curve, then the Netherlands athlete was decent where he was. If it's at the 150 mark, then some of the teams should have been changed up in their positioning. But looks like no DQs were there. / the officials probably didn't really care. But let's see. Handoff between South Africa. I think South Africa got it slightly before USA. So South Africa's in the lead. We about to see this stuff here. Here's Zambia. And I got to say, I deleted the comment, but I'm going to say it again. I was like, man, the Zambian athlete thought he was in Africa, because I've seen this time and time again. The 4x400 meter African athletes will cut in and out and literally do the exact move to each other. But if I said that in a comment, they would be like, oh, you being discriminatory against the Africans. Like, no, did you see the All African Games? Do you watch their competitions? They literally will cut in between each other the exact same way. Okay, here it is. You're going to play it through the first time. What the hell was that? Now we're going to put it more in slow motion. Okay. Based on where they are right now, and this is... And in all honesty, if it is at the 150, Netherlands should be in lane 1. South Africa should be in lane 2. Position 2, if they did it there. If they're doing it by this yellow line, then this position right here, this is how it goes. It goes South Africa, Netherlands, USA, and Zambia. Last time I saw something like this happen was either Rio or London. It was one of the two Olympics. And Team Nigeria, because I remember Regina George had to do this exact same thing. She went and trained at the camp that we were in. She's from the U.S., but Nigerian parents and everything, so she represented Nigeria. She had to cut all the way across and slow down, because even though she had passed up the other athletes, she had to cut across, because where she was at the cutoff mark where they measure it, she was in like 4th or 5th place, even though she sped up to like 2nd. So she had to slow down and go around the athletes. Y'all go back to those Olympics and watch that. And that's what he should have done. He did not have a stride and a half on our athlete. The rule is a stride and a half. He got about a stride. He doesn't have a stride and a half, especially right here. He slows it down. He didn't even think The whole time he's like, oh, I see my athlete. He's not aware. He's just focused on that. And like I said, I see this type of move. And I even see it in the 800 because they be having like 30 athletes at the Kenyan trials. At the Kenya trials, you be seeing, y'all need to watch the Kenya trials. Sometimes it's kind of like, dang, why do they put 800 meter runners in the same freaking race? They like, okay, all of y'all just go. But if y'all see some of the African games and stuff, you see this move. So maybe he thought this was a normal thing for him to do, but they definitely shouldn't have done that. And I don't even think this should be a rerun. It is clear. Because I'm like, okay, now you got more in your legs and everything. And you have a runoff or what? This is not necessarily the same as the 4x1. And they all did complete the race. That's the thing. It's not like they didn't. But hey, 'tis his life. If that's what they ruled, at least they got a chance to get in tomorrow. That basically tightens the screws on Botswana winning yet again. Because now they're going to have 3. With the exception, I think they're going to change out 1 athlete as a alternative. Maybe they take 2 out, but they at least have 2 athletes that are going to run a 400 3 times, assuming the U.S. does qualify. So let's do this again. Now let's play it in slow motion. Let's play this in slow motion. He needs a stride and a half on him. He's got about a stride. That's it. We're going to put it at half X speed. He does not have it. And he's slowing down. So instead of his athlete moving up a little bit, 2 things could have happened. 1, his athlete, seeing that he's crossed like that, could have gone up and then crossed over to where the Netherlands side was, because then he would have been moving. It's already in that zone. I don't think the officials would have DQ'd him. He's close enough. He's within that area. He could have moved forward. It's different when you switch the positions and you're staying there. I've seen that time and time again, and they get DQ'd when they switch positions and they stay there. They're not supposed to do that. But if you moved up enough, he should have just made the dude run more. Because right now he's crunched in. I don't know what possessed him to come in between. You got to be able to see this guy right there. Dumbest freaking move I've ever seen in the 4x4. Well, actually, no. Like I said, it happens at the All African Games. That's what they call their African Championships. I think they renamed it to African Championships now, but it was All Africa Games. But I've seen that plenty of times at the All Africa Games. I've seen it just at other levels of the 4x4. But as far as on the World Championship, Olympic level, dumbest move I've ever seen. It could have happened in the past, in 1980s or something. I wasn't live. But this is the dumbest thing I've seen. And then the next thing, I guess they panicked. Because on the one hand, you're not having your best people here. So it's only so much they can do to catch up. Right? But I think he did what he could do on this leg. Yeah, they basically then ran out of their race plan. And in my opinion, this dude way too wide, but France is having him go out. France is still putting himself in position to pass up China. I don't know why he was even running that far out of the lane. He didn't have no chance at all. So they had our athlete now running in lane 3 unnecessarily because France tweaked. Now, you see all of this, right? You see how everybody else is lined up because that's where they were off the curve, even though they finished. And to be honest, France, let me see something real quick. I think France was in the wrong position. Yeah, France is in the wrong position. And U.S. is in the wrong position. Whichever one. U.S. and France are supposed to be switched up. But hey, the officials didn't say anything or whatever. But yeah, France and U.S. were in the wrong position even there. So let me move on from that. We're going to cover the Jamaica 4x1. And again, I can't type on my computer. There's that. Nothing's coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off the screen. I did have Jamaica's 4x1 pulled up on my history tab. So I'm going to close this here and see if I can pull it up for my history and see if that's possible. Because something happened and I got no clue why. Okay, here's my rabbit once again, just like yesterday. Let's see. Nope, I don't. I'm just going to have to talk it through. And I can't find that one. So that might have been a different tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back up on the screen. And I'm going to talk it through. And I'm going to put USA men's and women's on the screen. Let's put the USA women and cover the women real quick. Now, Jamaican women with that 41.8, they got some work to do on those exchanges. Hopefully, they actually work on that when it comes to the final, because this is gonna be a good one between USA and Jamaica, in my opinion. Barring any bad exchanges, USA had a better exchange on that third one than Jamaica did. And I think it was because the U.S. knows to hang out, like Sha'Carri always hangs out on the outside of her lane, but Jamaica did not do that. Shelly Ann did the work that she needed to do. Let's pass this up. Okay, I noticed this earlier, and I'm going to just have to say this now. Didn't Asher Smith has that cutesy look, but that's not the comment I was going to say. They all have the exact same skin tone. I don't think Britain's team ever had that before. And I don't think I've seen a team, like a dark skinned team, have the exact same skin tone. Usually it's like some different shades. Do all of them have the exact same skin tone as Dina? I think she might be slightly lighter, but like they got almost the same skin tone. I'm like, hold up. I never seen that before. Here go Dina. And I'm like, They look homogenous. Usually the other teams, you see the other teams, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, the European teams and stuff, and they look all about the same unless they got somebody black there. They got like the same skin tone most of the time. These two are a little bit different. But I'm like, I ain't seen a British team like that. So I just had to pause and notice that earlier. I'm like, wait a minute, they got the same skin tone. That's just an aside here. Y'all know I always have my side topics and whatnot in between covering the analysis here. Yeah, this is how it usually looks. It'll be like this on one of the teams. If it's a European team, they got like one black person or melanated person on their team or something like that. But okay. And Britain usually has more melanated people on there, but they're not always all the same skin tone. Like Team USA, everybody got different variations and stuff. That's how they look. But nope, not this time. Okay, is this the Chinese athlete that they had that viral video on? Unless I'm wrong, that where they were trying to do that that exchange, the baton exchange and whatnot. I can't remember. And then the lady was just not focused. I like that one, that little gunshot move that this Chinese athlete did on that side. She actually looks like one of the geishas that come in. Oh, US and Kenya will rerun? Okay, very interesting. Thanks for that info. Because Zambia, I'm like, no, Zambia clearly did a flub up there. Oh yeah, and then Britain's 4x4, the women's side. I'm like, dude, that was crazy. And then Yemi Mary John. Yeah, Yemi Mary John for Great Britain. She still has another year at USC, I think. She started a year late. I think she's a senior coming in this year. So USC gonna be having a decent 4x4 coming in this next season. Sometimes I keep up with some of the athletes here, but like I said, 2026 we gonna be on fire on this channel. Dina does her job on this first leg. She's always a good curve runner. USA pretty decent. So between USA and Britain, let me see this again. I thought Britain handed it off first. Yep, that's what it was, Dina. But also their lane positions there. But right there, USA, Britain, TT Terry always eating people up. Right there is USA now. Now on this curve, this is very interesting. Is this Lucan Camper at the end? Yeah, that is her. And then, okay, this is where that exchange was better than Jamaica, and Jamaica could probably learn something from it. You got to stay on the outside of the lane. Now, you see, she eventually went in because she was running on the outside of the lane. Let's go back here. And maybe I should play it in slow motion. Okay, so she's running more so in the middle toward the outside of the lane. She's like going back and forth. Maybe that's the power there. But she stays to the outside of the lane, so that gives our athlete, in this case Sha'Carri, the room to actually get the baton exchange. Jamaica didn't necessarily do that. And I think a lot of times they actually do, but for whatever reason, this time they didn't. And that could have cost them dearly. So that's something to keep in mind for the final. I wonder who we have in the final here. Because who does Melissa Jefferson replace? That's what I want to know. Is she going to replace TT Terry? I don't know if that should be the replacement. Or are we replacing our opener? I almost think our third person is getting replaced. But I didn't look at the list when I did here, so I don't know who's replacing who. But that's going to be very, very interesting. And Dina Asher Smith is still the best British women's athlete. And I don't know. I don't know why she's happy with that, because that might get them a bad lane. I don't know what Nita was thinking here, but Lucan Camper hawked her down, and she seemed to be like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, no, you might actually get lane 2 or something now. You might get lane 2 or 3. Now, I didn't even look at the heat list. Let me look that up on my phone since I can't pull it up here. But all I kept thinking is, she's like, yeah, I'm happy I just got this through. It's like, no, you kind of, why did you allow her to catch you? That's all I'm thinking. What do y'all think about that? Because now they're putting themselves in a worse position. Y'all get what I'm saying? They're putting themselves in a worse position because of the move Nita did. But I guess I kind of understand. She like, man, I'm just happy we ain't getting the cube. I'm happy we ain't getting the cube because they were messing up. Now, let's go over to the men's. This was wild. I got to say, today was exciting. I can't even hold back my laughter because I'm not laughing at like whatever. This is like NASCAR now. Like where people be waiting for these people to crash their cars. Nobody want them to die or nothing, but they be waiting for people to crash. That's how some people like crash watch. I don't watch NASCAR whatsoever. Don't really care for it. But when it comes to F1 is better in my opinion. But that's what today was. How did Jacob's arm hit the South African dude? Like what the heck? He was all the way on the outside, but he was still in his lane. And I'm like, dude, can't you see this dude right there? That's what I'm thinking. But let's put this in slow motion because now we can all watch this and see my reaction live here. Because I gotta say, that was kind of random. That was very random to me. Fair use, once again. Hey, I noticed this year, maybe because my channel isn't being watched as it was before. Remember when I was trying to catch these streams in the past? They would be cutting off my stream mid. Remember, it was in 2023. And somebody complained. One of my subscribers complained. Somebody that does super chats and whatnot. I forget his name, but I'll remember it when I see he was like, hey, why don't you do the just play the race, play the race? Why do you keep pausing? And why don't you play the whole race? Man, I played the whole race. They shut my stream down for copyright. And they was like, oh, I see what you saying now. I'm like, yeah, I don't got the attention right now. I bet you as soon as I start getting the numbers I did because I'm more consistent, they going to be right on here like white on rice. I'm telling you. Okay, here's our guy. Man, he was pissed. All right, let's play this one up. All right, that's what we're looking for. Do I need to play this in slow motion? No, I'm gonna play it through the first time. All right. Somehow he knocked arms with Marcel Jacobs. Okay, let's look at this again. Right here on your screen, right there. Boom. Like he barely just got up. He barreled through him. I'm like, damn. Marcel Jacobs' momentum was crushed and everything. This man having a hissy fit all the way down. He's like, yo, he pointing at him. He smacked his arm. Here he is. He gonna smack his arm again. You're not gonna see it there. You'll see it on the replay, the one that they zoom in a little bit closer. But here go Britain. Okay, now we got Britain is in the lead. Then Britain over here. I'm like, dude, what the heck? You should just still pass it off anyway. I don't know. They weren't focused. Dude took off fast. He was like, man, I thought you was Usain Bolt coming in. I thought you had the speed. That's what he thought. He thought he was the wrong athlete. He was like, oh, I thought Bolt was handing it off to me. I thought this was just the Gatling coming in. But nope. Wrong athlete. You just the British athlete coming in. I forgot to adjust my takeoff time right here. And then Japan, they over here, the beneficiaries. Man, they had 3 teams eliminated on their ass. And the Japanese got decent exchange. They even had a fantastic underhand exchange right there. Their crowd gets through. I keep telling my friend, I'm like, dude, Japan and China, typically when they make a final, they typically medal when they make a final. Most of the time. They don't do it all the time, but they usually medal when they make a final. And they don't have nobody in the open. I keep telling them, I'm like, dude, speed in the open has nothing to do with the speed in these relays if you got great exchanges and decent athletes. If you got decent athletes, it don't even matter. Hold on just a second, everybody. All right, so let's go to the next event. Man, I don't know what these guys were smoking. Let's try to get this on the replay. Look at that. So who do y'all think was in the wrong? Do y'all think Marcel Jacobs was in the wrong? Because I'm like, okay, people are on the outside of their lanes. And I'm like, I've seen this time and time again. Like, he's on the outside of his lane. The British athlete. I really think that this wasn't Jacobs unless, I think I did see on a replay. Let me put this in slow motion. Okay, he's still in his lane. Right here. Okay. Now, is this dude that focused? Well, he's supposed to be focused. But is he that, I would say, clueless? You see him on the outside. You see him on the outside. You see him on the outside. Everybody's on the outside, including his athlete. What ain't that something? His athlete is actually the most on the outside. He's basically on the line. As far as you can be on the line. Every single one of these sprinters are on the outside of their lane. And I gotta say, his athlete looks like he's the most. Him and Jacobs' athlete are the most. So are you telling me everybody else can avoid hitting the arms of the other athletes, but you can't. That's all I'm wondering. Oh, looks like my keyboard's working again. There we go. Okay. So, maybe I could pull up Jamaica's 4x1 real quick. I don't understand what the problem is, because I got to look at all the other people, everybody else, and I don't know. I think that's the South Africans' fault. That has nothing to do with Jacobs at all, in my opinion. He's over there whining and complaining, but that's his fault. You're supposed to see that all the athletes are on the outside of the lane. Let me see where that replay is again. Do they zoom into that? Oh no, they kind of avoid zooming into it. They just really don't. World Athletics did that on purpose. They said, nope, we ain't about to show that one. But when I saw that, I'm like, dude, that's his fault. So we're going to pull up the Jamaica squad again. Let me see. Maybe there was something else that I wanted to cover. Oh, yeah, the men's 4x1. Let's cover the men's 4x1 real quick. This is going to be interesting. I think both the women's 4x4 and the men's 4x4 could get that world record. It's going to be a big question mark because, I mean, Sydney going to be blazing, I think. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. But a 4x4 record is not one person. That's the only thing. It's not one person. And the question mark are going to be the other athletes on there. But Botswana 4x4, I wonder. And Team USA got some work to do. Here's Jamaica's squad here. So we got it. Okay, what the heck is going on? Okay, I gotta say this one. Is Kashane potentially gonna be Tyson Gay? But for Jamaica, where Tyson Gay could never get that Olympic gold in any of the events. He couldn't get it on a relay. He couldn't get that. Is Kashane gonna be continuously swapped? Because he was world champion and he got those things, but before this goes off, is Kashane gonna be denied even a gold in general? Is this what's gonna happen? Because remember what happened last year. He didn't have a chance to even get across the line because another person had messed up. Now this one was on his exchange. Is Kashane gonna be like Tyson Gay? That's immediately what I thought when this happened. I was like, dang. It's crazy to see it now, before all of the years go by, and say, dang, is he going to be denied a chance to get the gold? A chance to get that Olympic gold is what I would say. But I'm just going to say right now in general, because in the 100, this dude, he got more talent than the people that are beating him, but the talent don't matter if you can't get the W. If you can't hold your form through, if you can't stay healthy enough, it don't matter about the what ifs. All that matters is the reality. Because if the shoe was flipped on the other side, the Jamaicans wouldn't hold it and be like, well, you insert random USA athlete. It's like, nope, Jamaica won, Jamaica better. That's all they would say. So in this case, it's like whoever beats him is better, right? It don't matter what his quote unquote what if talent. So is Kashane gonna be denied? Let's see. USA in 8, Jamaica in lane 3. So, Coleman getting out. He passes off to Baker. He makes sure that baton gets in his hand. Let's see that again. He makes sure that baton, he's holding and clamping that thing down. USA got a bad track record during the Bolt era. During the no allows era, Jamaica seemed to not be able to get it together. How many times has Jamaica, thinking about it with Johan Blake's squad too, during Noah Lyles' era, isn't this very interesting? Where we got a just strong, dominant one athlete that's just kind of representing and carrying the country. The other rival nation ain't been able to really put together their 4x1. Think about how many times Jamaica now has now messed up their 4x1 exchanges. Because this even goes back to when Johan Blake was competing and Noah Lyles was there. Jamaica can't seem to put it together. And it was on the flip side when Usain Bolt was dominating. So now here's Blake, Blake Baker passing off to that Bromell. I forget now. All right, let's look at Jamaica. And I told my best friend, I said, Canada be coming through. He was like, no. He said, nothing to worry about. Maybe they got nothing to worry about. But if USA don't have the exchanges right, Canada will, just like they did before, take that W. Here comes Jamaica. Here comes Kashane. Here it is. And they drop the baton. Damn. I'm like, what? What was that? That was like the smoothest freaking drop. I gotta say, that's the smoothest drop I ain't ever seen. How it's like whoop, and he just let it go. He was trying to do the exchange like that. A lot of times the athletes don't do that at the pro level. I noticed that. They kind of like hold their hand there for a little bit longer than the immediate. I see that at the high school. They go blam. They smack and it's gone. I see that at some colleges where it's smack and it's gone. At the pro level, oftentimes I don't see at least USA, Jamaica, Canada do those extremely fast. Even here, look at this. Look at USA and Canada. They're holding it a little bit longer. It's a slight pause. Over here, I don't know what happened. He just let it go. He just put it there and he immediately just dropped it. No pause, no nothing. I'm gonna go back one more time. And then I'm gonna put it in slow motion. It's like, whoop, drop. No pause. Everybody else has pauses here. So let's go here. They want to make sure this exchange is in. So in slow motion, we're seeing it lead up. Actually, I'm kind of disappointed in this because I would have liked to see Jamaica challenge. This would have been very interesting, especially with Kashane and Noah Lyles. Here it is. And I'm like, what the hell? But I think Kashane might be suffering from the Tyson Gay syndrome. Except it might be he doesn't get a goal. He got so much time in front of him now. We'll see. We will see. But Canada, they're coming through. They're able to get ahead of the U.S. We're going to see with the change off to Noah Lyles and whatnot. With the change up there. But I'm like, look, dude. People keep denying these other athletes. Japan getting into the final. They usually medal. I don't know if they can medal now, but so many teams took themselves out that you would think is better than them. And then Canada, I say they overperform most of the time if they get the baton around. I think they messed up once. But if they get the baton around, they could take advantage of other teams that you would think could beat them. It's just a shame, really. I think I might just do some honorable mentions and then end that stream right here. I'm going to cover the final day tomorrow to end everything off. Hopefully we see a world record in those 4x4s, one of them at least. This will be very, very, very interesting because Team USA got a real chance at that 4x4. But that's crazy with that extra round that's going to be in their legs. Anna Hall, congratulations on that heptathlon gold. Anna Hall, congratulations. I already covered that. The 5K, we're going to do that for the distance people here. They're friends with each other. So Chebet was crying when Kip Yagan won again. So this was a very interesting one. And again, Chebet usually has I still got this on half speed. Chebet usually has, we're not going to play the whole thing. We just going to kind of skip through some things here. She has a better sprint finish in the 5K. It's kind of like Mo Farah and I forget his name because I was competing when he was in high school too. We all said he was a manufactured athlete. It was funny because even as high schoolers, we were like, man, this dude got creative. Our American athlete, that was training with Salazar. Damn, I can't remember his name. Somebody, Galen Rupp. There we go. Because in high school, I remember my senior teammate. He was talking about that. We were like, man, this guy isn't just like talent. They got a whole concoction. We were joking that he had air conditioners around him because he got money. We was like, man, this dude rich. So he's got floating air conditioners around him. He's got other stuff. He got a lab with him. We were joking about that in high school. So if we knew it all the way in Illinois, this dude all the way several states over, and this is, we talking about it there, then all of us knew things about what Alberto Salazar to some extent was doing with athletes back then. Now again, he never did technically break any of the rules. He just went up into it. So when you say performance enhancing, he like, shoot, you said 50 moles per liter. Let's use that as a measurement. I go to 48. There we go. I'm going to the limit of whatever you say. You say this is for EPO. Well, I'm going to do this. You say this is for blood doping. I'm going to do right at this level. And technically I'm not. And since he didn't violate anything, they shouldn't have suspended him. But of course, haters be haters. Okay. USA doing their thing. Batacletti of Italy, she normally actually performs pretty well at this. Surprisingly, at these championships, she knows how to put it down. But she's better at the 10K than she is in the 5K, and I think she got a silver. So she's coming off of a silver. Let's skip some of this here. They're gonna skip it themselves too. USA putting in the first few laps. 1,000 meters to go. I think that's a good thing there. I don't know what happened to one of the athletes, but maybe that humidity just be getting to people. You said you saw the Netherlands do that on the women's 4x4 as well. Yeah, I don't know what be happening sometimes. These people are too focused on those where they're, I understand this, so like get the baton in the hand of the other person no matter who is in the way. Like, what the heck? And people are like, if that's not interference, then our American athlete Cole Hocker wasn't interference too. I was like, yeah. I'm like, dude, they're gonna say this not interference? Okay, then he shouldn't have been DQ'd. Now, at this point, people thinking Houlihan, okay, she might be able to do something. And I'm like, no, y'all just basically clicking the laps away for Chebet and Kipyegon. I'm like, dude, if I'm there, I'm like, dude, let me hope I could beat them. Now, here's the big three names that you would expect. Bartoletti, Kipyegon, and Chebet. Sagai doesn't have it. I'm always so confused with Sagai. She does the 5K, 1500, and the 10K. And I'm like, bruh, don't you feel that in your legs? And she's actually decent in any one of them. She was the former world record holder in the 5 and the 10K. And I think indoor record holder for the 1500. But you're doing all of them. And Team Ethiopia keeps selecting her. So I'm like, dude, she be underperforming sometimes. She be getting 6th and 7th. In the 10K, which shoots her legs for the 1500. And I'm like, dude, maybe not do the 1500 so you can do well in the 5K, because sometimes it'd be getting her. But she's the former 10K champion from 2023, so she can win. But then she's shooting herself in the legs. I'm just wondering. But you had Sifan Hassan that could medal in all of them, but I don't think Sagai has that talent. She ain't got no type of kick. All right, let me go back here so I can cover this. Sagai has no type of kick with that, so she's just killing herself. And sometimes she just dies out in the middle of a race because she got the other two under her legs. She's fortunate enough to last this long. Here's Kipyegon. She's not looking as strong as she is before. Chebet like she did to Sagai for the world record. Right on the shoulder, coming up and passing. Decent. This is going to be very, very interesting how Chebet goes forward. I think we might see something really special with her domination over the next coming decade. That's what I'm thinking. At least for the next 2 Olympic cycles. That's what I'm thinking. And if she moves to the marathon, it's going to be very interesting if she's able to take that record. But I will cover tomorrow's events as well. This is going to be interesting and very exciting today. Like I said, with these mess ups in these exchanges, I'm like, dude, what is going on? Why can't y'all get the batons across? Y'all had 3 people out in the men's 4x1 in one heat. Italy, South Africa, and Britain. Then in another one, you had Jamaica out. You got all the expected teams that could get on the podium out except for one, the U.S. And with U.S.'s track record, except for with Noah Lyles. Well, no, actually, I think Noah Lyles did have one because Cravant, he messed up once. But anyway, but with the track record here, you got to think USA, I still can't trust it. I still can't trust the USA to say, we got the win, let's go and lose. Like, I'm on my toes. My friend is like, oh, we ain't got to worry about Canada. I'm like, okay, we ain't got to worry about Canada. Nothing's guaranteed in these 4x1s. These 4x1s are so sticky. You saw what happened today. What you mean we ain't got to worry about it? Every single one of them exchanges better be like, if they mess them up, they better be like Coleman and smack that freaking baton and clamp them down and say, here it is, right here. Do like Coleman. Because if not, the USA be out the medals. Forget second place. They'd be out the medals like they did for a decade. Damn. I do not want to see that again. But the Jamaican men, that's got to sting, especially to Kashane. That's got to sting to the other guys, especially the ones that don't do the open. That's their only chance of a medal. So they're over here like, dude, what the hell? And Kashane over here like, this is my chance to get a gold out. That's got to sting. He might be a perpetual silver. We're going to see if he becomes the Silver King. You might stay in that spot. Like I said, the track record of somebody getting a gold, I'm going to say it here again for the few people here, and I'm going to end off here. Track record for somebody getting a gold at the Olympics, because it happens every 4 years instead of World Championships, is the following. Nobody, at least in the modern iterations, and I would say past the 1960s, because it had much fewer nations participated before, although it's still competitive before that. But no Olympics, to what I could see, even back to the original ones, was it somebody to win the men's 100 if they showed up in the finals. Okay, if you made the finals and you didn't get gold the first time you showed up, you are never getting gold. That's what the statistics show. That means he's got heavy lifting against the statistics. Obviously, statistics are just a predicting factor. It doesn't guarantee anything, but they are very reliable. With track and field, it's all about the numbers. Nobody in the history of the 100, as far as I could tell, especially in the modern iterations, I look back to the original. If you showed up to the final, you're not getting a gold. If you showed up to the Olympics and you didn't make the final, you could actually still get the gold. Usain Bolt is an example. And I had a couple other people in my head, but I'm not going to strain my mind to think of them too much. I had about 4 different athletes that showed up to the Olympics, some that got cut out in the semifinal, and then they came back to win a gold at the very next Olympics. If you make the Olympics, you can still do that. But if you make the final and you don't get that gold, you're never getting a gold. So that's something Kashane maybe is not going to think about. His squad at MVP, they're not going to really be trying to consider something like that. But I just want y'all to know, as fans of the sport, that that is a uphill battle for somebody like Kashane to do. Same thing with Oblique Seville. The chances of that happening are slim to none. Because, and here's the reason why. You have new crops of athletes that pop up all the time. You have a person that typically sticks through. Let's think about a Usain Bolt. If Usain Bolt sticks through that time, he's winning every single one of the Olympics that are within that time. He got 2008, 2012, and 2016. If you were somebody that was there, you're aging at the same time he's aging. If he retires and you're still there, chances of you winning there are less now, because now younger athletes or somebody that was up under that crop is now taking over. See, that's the reason why. And if it's not somebody dominant, here's one person that wins, here's the next person that wins, here's another person that wins, and here you go. You had Marcel Jacobs that won one Olympics, then you got a Noah Lyles that wins the next Olympics. Those are two different people, but you might have showed up for both of them. You're now 4 years, 8 years older. Now it comes to 2028. You're 8 years older, 7 years technically, from 2021. So what's the chances of you getting it again? A gold. Even lower. Why? You're older now. Some could argue that some old athletes will get faster as they get older. But then you got young upstarts that are blazing through. So, anyway, like I said, I'll end off right there. I am 50-50 chance going to come tomorrow, but it'll be after all the events are there. Let's look on this thing. I've ended basically everything. I'm going to check and see if they updated. Did they do that update here? Because they had some of the news coverage